All right. I swear I'm going to go to bed right after I record this. And I will upload it tomorrow. Don't worry. Tomorrow, which is about 14 minutes from now. Don't worry. I will record it though when I wake up. I want to remind folks, the 460 so folks that may listen to this, that may hear this. I'm just a spurg on the internet. I'm just another one of these voices that's trying to cut through the BS. That's what I try to see myself as anyway. There are thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of voices out there. And I realize that I'm just one more. And I don't think that, there's anything building up or anything else like that. People are going to have their own opinions and their own whichever. But the thing is, though, I do realize, especially looking through Twitter, I got a headache slightly from doing that, is I realize just how cringe Twitter is. Just the setup of it, and just having all the rabbit holes you go down. You're just like, I don't have the mentality for this anymore. So I'm glad. I am glad. I don't think it was some forced response. I really just think I was like, I'm glad I didn't. Anyway. I just want to make sure. These are just my opinions. These are just my opinions and assumptions that people can feel as they want to about. And could any of this happen? Maybe. Could none of it happen? Absolutely. But it's something I think about because that's how you're kind of programmed. It doesn't matter whether you're left wing or right wing. I think that there is a move towards some sort of revolution, right? And so you look at a lot of LARPers may point to the 1917 Russian Revolution. They may point to even the Novorussia, as I talked about in the last video. So a lot of different areas that I could touch on, right? But ultimately, I have no idea. And I know that I have put myself down this road, as a lot of folks have. I've entered down that rabbit hole of, seeing all the politics of it, SJWs, this and that. I never really cared about video games, never really cared about movies that much. I can notice and be like, ooh, but I can just watch a DVD that I like instead, or whatever. That never really bothered me. The reason I'm saying this is because ultimately I'm just one guy. Kind of like I'm kind of echoing what Jason Unruh was saying. But ultimately I'm just one person recording these videos and seeing what sticks. Sometimes I do some memes to get some funny haha jokes. Other times I just record these to get my feelings out. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of restlessness out there, I think. Amongst the millennials, amongst the Zoomers, amongst the Gen Xers, I imagine. There's anxiety. A sense of what's going to happen to us. Who will we have to join? And what will we become, right? There's a lot of that going on. People are choosing their sides, right? I mean, if you were to look at Twitter, you would imagine that everyone has their minds made up. Of course, the thing is that Twitter is not real life. People all put on a big game to make themselves look more intelligent than what they are. It's the whole idea of it, right? It's about an image that you present. At times I put an image on this, right? Obviously, you're not going to see my face. But it's something to think about. Ultimately, as I've always said, and I want to make sure of this, I want to make sure that this is said, everybody's going to have to join who they feel will best represent them and their values, you know? So when, whether you're in the UK or whether you're in, Portland, Oregon, whether you're in Florida, wherever, you're going to have to choose whichever group you think represents you. I don't know what that is exactly. Too lazy to do that type of research. But the thing is, I realize that is where we're going, right? At least it's what I think. Who knows? We could all just be swallowed by the collective. Who knows, right? I just think we have to be pragmatic and honest about ourselves. For people like me, I just kind of aimlessly go through life for the most part. I have a general idea. Sometimes you get spurgy about something and you go down these rabbit holes, right? You spend all this time on Twitter looking at these different things. You realize that, the far right steals ideas from the left. Or you realize that, typically the right wing always bends to the will of corporations. But then you see the representatives of the left, and you see these folks like Vosh, or you see these folks like, I don't know, one of these weird psychiatrists on Twitter or wherever. And you realize, you're like, I don't know if I go with them either. And you kind of, you're not sure, right? You're not sure what they're promising at the end of the day. It's funny when you hear some of these folks. They have a podcast or they're on YouTube or whatever. But what do they really believe? What will they really do? I don't know. I say this because, people build up parasocial relationships to cope with these ideas, right? They watch a movie or they watch a Vosh stream or whatever. I'm not going to sit here and down on Vosh followers and everything. That's not my intention. What I would say though is you have to be able to wean yourself off it and actually go out in the real world. For people like me, that's tough. I can remember it was somewhat of a challenge. First time I remember kind of breaking the spell from TV was when I went to basic training. And I felt the urge to watch TV. I don't know. It was an addiction. It was. And hell, even doing, watching YouTube videos or seeing Twitch streams or whatever, or reading something, I don't know, occasionally, and trying to understand where their perspective comes, what somebody's writing about on Twitter is coming from. It becomes an addiction, and you're like, more. I say this trying to connect my own addiction now, this idea of knowledge. And it's like I can look in my bookshelves, shelves, plural, and I say, I'm not going to read most of these books. I spent quite a bit of money on them. Maybe I'll eventually read the rest of this Malcolm X, A Life of Reinvention. Very interesting, talking about the history of his family, of course. Malcolm X's father, Earl Little, abandoned his previous family that he had in Georgia and went north in the Northern Migration and met Louise Norton, who was white passing and who grew up in. Let me make sure here. I want to make sure I have this right. Garvey's ideals. I'm trying to remember here. Booker T. Washington. Okay, Uganda. Okay, hold on. I've got to go back here. Marcus Garvey. Okay, yep. Okay, June 1919. Oh, okay. She's from Grenada. That's it, yeah. So, Grenadian mother and a African American father. But it's just one of those things where you have to really may take time to understand certain subjects and ideas, right? And I think that's where we are, you know. I don't know. I realize the pitfalls of social media. You know, Twitter can just be a crap hole of just people getting doxxed, and you know the whole people's lives have been ruined because of it. You know. My mom just got up. And it's something that can mess up your brain. Hell, I know it's messed up mine. It's somewhere I don't go anymore. I'm still left restless to a point. I think that I don't know what the future holds, but I would just say just try to find what keeps you going. Not what makes you happy necessarily. Yeah, that too, but what keeps you going. And do that. Whatever music it may be or this and that. Find that thing to keep you going. And if I can do that, I appreciate that. But don't make it your whole life. It's kind of a schizo way of putting it, but you know what? I hope y'all enjoy that. See you later, and a goodbye.